I'm not going to personally guarantee it, but I do think there is one more move coming for the Las Vegas Raiders before we play our first game on Sunday. Whether that is signing Jakobi Meyers to a long-term extension or adding one more defensive player, I do think something is going to happen. Now, maybe both of those happen. But before we get into all this, we need to talk about specifically what position we could be adding. There seems to be no more corners available to grab that are going to make an impact more than the people on our team. I know that might sound crazy, but that's how the coaches and the GMs and the scouts and the assistant GMs are leading us to believe by not going out and trading for a Mika Fitzpatrick or a Jalen Ramsey or signing a Mike Hilton who was just released or Russell Douglas who was just released, right? It seems to be the word on the street is safety could be another area that we add. Now, I know what you're saying. This is something that I thought myself. Why would we add a safety when we have two good safeties, especially when, we could use some depth at the safety position, but it's not an area of need. We need maybe another linebacker for some depth or some more cornerbacks. Well, I thought about it a little. I read some stuff, and we're going to check it out. And the first thing you have to understand is the player that we might go after is somebody from the team that we are about to play in 7 days. I cannot wait. And that person is Jabrill Peppers. Diana Rossini tweeted, "The Patriots are releasing Jabril Peppers. Sources confirms the veteran safety spent the past 3 seasons here in New England." And then the point we want to read here is, Raiders would make a ton of sense. They've been wanting an upgrade at box safety, so Jeremy Chin, who is one of our safeties, can play more nickel corner or nickel linebacker. They could also pick his brain about the New England defense, and there's the revenge game factor in week 1. So we've actually got a complete article here, about a couple of people that we can add. One of them is a lineman and 2 are safeties. One of them is Jabril Peppers, so we're going to break down his stats and how we could fit on this team. But the idea that we could maybe bolster the cornerback/linebacker room because Jeremy Chin is going to play a lot of that nickel. He's going to be near the line of scrimmage guarding that tight end or that other bigger wide receiver and helping stop the run with a Jamal Adams, a Jermaine Pratt, a Landon Roberts, a Devin White. So we would need another safety to help back on the back end, and I don't believe right now we have the depth to do that comfortably, which is why I think we could be bringing in one more player. So before we get into that article, I do want to tell you about the sponsor for this video, DraftKings. With the NFL season right around the corner, there's no time like the present to get involved in the betting scene, and now you can with our new channel partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet $5 and get $300 instantly in bonus bets, and all you have to do is download the DraftKings app and sign up using the promo code ALLaBorde. Whether it's the thrill of betting on games live as they happen or building the perfect parlay for an even bigger payout, DraftKings has you covered. And do not worry, if sports betting isn't yet legal in your state, you can still get in on all the action with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. From football to basketball to hockey to lacrosse to golf, the variety of bets you can make on DraftKings cannot be beat. From popular stats to game lines, touchdown scores, game props, team props, and much, much more. The next great touchdown is coming, and you can bet on it. Download the DraftKings app, sign up, and use the promo code ALLABORDE. As always, shout out to DraftKings. Use the promo code if you have not yet downloaded and signed up for your new DraftKings account. It does help out the channel tremendously. Leave comments down below before we get into this article here, which is by my guy, my partner in crime on Bleacher Report, Momo. And do you think it makes sense to you to add a safety if we're going to be moving Jeremy Chin to that nickel a lot, which is where I believe he had his interception in the preseason? I could be wrong about that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But initially thinking about signing a Jabril Peppers, or I don't want to spoil it, other people on this article, this list that Mo has, it didn't make sense to me initially. But the idea of being able to have another versatile veteran player at that position to be able to use Jeremy Chin in the nickel spot, you kind of knock 2 birds out with 1 stone. Obviously, Jeremy Chin is the best safety on our team, and even if we sign a Jabril Peppers, Jeremy Chin will still be the best safety. But him being able to play corner or sub-linebacker-ish really does kind of help Band-Aid a weaker, younger secondary. So let's get into this a little bit here. Mo, and shout out to Mo on Yahoo Sports. 3 free agents who can strengthen the Las Vegas Raiders roster ahead of the season opener. Since the roster cut-down deadline, the Las Vegas Raiders have made multiple tweaks to their roster, which means they could bring in competition for prominent roles. Over the past few days, the Raiders have made a few under-the-radar moves. That would be our boy from the Rams and then Stone Forsythe as well to fill out their practice squad and upgrade the back end of their roster. Still, General Manager John Spytek should take a big swing at starting caliber players who can help the team at one of its weakest positions. Though it's a thin pool of notable free agents ahead of Week 1, 3 players stand out as potential difference makers for a defense that has some question marks. And here is safety Jabrill Peppers. He's a free agent who is not subject to waivers. Between 2020 and 2021, Peppers played for the New York Giants under defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. That's a very important point there. Great job by Mo there. He had his most productive year in the first of the 2 campaigns, recording 91 tackles, 8 for loss, 2.5 sacks, and an interception. So Patrick Graham is probably pounding the table to bring this guy in. According to PFF, the 29-year-old has logged in, 1,800 snaps at free safety and 1,760 snaps at box safety, 902 snaps at slot defender. With Pepper's versatility and familiarity in Graham's system, he could be another chess piece for the Raiders defense. He would fill a need at safety where Jeremy Chin is at nickelback. That's exactly what we talked about. Defensive lineman Morgan Fox. Don't know a lot about Morgan Fox, but, I'll take as many defensive linemen as possible. Since 2022, Fox has recorded 15.5 sacks and 42 pressures. 6'5", 275 pounds. He's lined up as an interior and on the outside. He would be a decent model for Tyree Wilson, who could see action in multiple spots across the front line this year. I don't hate that. And lastly, another safety who could serve as the same position as Jabrill Peppers, Justin Simmons. Las Vegas Raiders are thin at the safety with a rotation of 3 players. When Jeremy Chin lines up in the slot position, Chris Smith played well alongside Isaiah Pull-Him-Out in the nickel formation. I wouldn't be comfortable playing Chris Smith for long periods of time. The Raiders lack a proven ball-hawking safety in their secondary. Lonnie Johnson Jr. may return from a broken fibula at some point this season, but he's recorded just 1 interception in the previous 3 years. Justin Simmons can provide leadership and still force takeaways. He recorded at least 2 interceptions in all 9 of his pro campaigns. Last season with the Falcons, Simmons allowed an 81.9 passer rating and coverage, giving up 6.2 yards per target. At 31, the 10-year veteran can be a difference maker in the defensive backfield. Please go follow Maurice Moten, Mo Moten on Twitter. The idea that Patrick Graham was able to squeeze the best parts of Jabrill Peppers' game and put it into real-life situations is kind of all I need to hear. Now, again, the issue with bringing in Brennan Jackson, who's that guy's name, is a Stone Forsythe, and now Jabrill Peppers is this in any way affecting the Jakobi Meyers contract extension? Because I don't want him feeling some type of way about us bringing in all these guys and not using that combined $15 million that we're spending on 3 guys to add to him. Now, it could just be a tactic to ask for a trade, but I do think I'm getting a little bit more nervous each day we get closer to the season that he's not out there. Not that he's not out there, but that they haven't extended him, because he's going to play no matter what. He's been practicing, and he's going to play hard. I just don't want him to get hurt and then not be able to sign his contract. Like, I don't want a Malcolm Kuntz thing to happen to him, right? It's just not fair, and he deserves to be paid. Now, we need to pay him a reasonable amount. But the last point I want to make here before I hop off, and by the way, shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. We still have a couple more days. If you join the YouTube membership program, you have a chance to win $100 via me before the season starts, and hit that subscribe button. We already passed 14,000. Let's get to 15,000. The last point I want to make here is this. I feel like it's very typical Raiders to cut somebody and then have the team that we're about to play sign them and learn our entire playbook. It's very atypical for the Raiders to be on the receiving end of somebody who was just cut, rightfully or wrongly, take their knowledge and add it into what we have. Now, Mike Vrabel's a smart coach. He's not just going to cut Jabrill Peppers, have him sign with the Raiders, and then completely run exactly the same schemes with the same verbiage. But it will be a big advantage to grab a Jabrill Peppers, someone who knows Patrick Graham's system, and someone who has been learning the Patriots' offense and defense the whole offseason. And when you could be a game or 2 from making the playoffs, every advantage is massive. So the questions I have to the commenters is this. Number 1, Who would you sign out of the three people we talked about? Peppers, Simmons, or the defensive lineman? What's his name here? I already forgot it. That Mo talked about. Hold on. Stand by. Morgan Fox, who had 15.5 sacks in 3 years. That's not terrible. Which one of the three would you sign? Would you sign any of them? And do you think it's a big enough advantage that Jabrill Peppers could have over the Patriots that we should grab him instead of Justin Simmons, even if Justin Simmons is a better player? We are 1 week away. And I do believe something is going to happen. Like I said, whether that's Jakobi, whether that's one of these three guys, something is going to happen. A transaction needs to be made to help us play better at the safety position, which allows Jeremy Chin to play that nickel back. Look at this photograph position. What say you in the comments? Let me know your thoughts on everything. Hit that like button, comment away, and please be sure to subscribe. It's free out on the church to you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.